Welcome to WeRPN Self Care series. This is Module 2 of Emotional Well-Being, and will focus on your relationship with others. Our last session focused on learning about the 3 aspects of your relationship with others: self-awareness, self-management, and motivation. Now that you've looked inward to see how your relationship with yourself impacts your overall well-being, this module will examine how your relationships with others is also important for your overall well-being, focusing on the empathy and social skills components of emotional intelligence. Your relationships with others. In every interaction, you're sending emotional signals, as Daniel Goleman explains in his book, Emotional Intelligence, How It Can Matter More Than Your IQ. Goleman describes that the better you are at engaging in social interactions, the better you are at controlling the emotional signals you send. By understanding your relationship with others, you become more effective in your social interactions. Your relationship with others using emotional intelligence consists of the 2 aspects, empathy and social skills. As you learned in the first module, it's imperative that you understand your own emotions and how you react to them before you can focus on how you relate to others. Although it's easy to focus on the impact of your positive interactions with people, both positive and negative interactions have an effect on your relationships. It's not only the positive interactions that can help you learn and grow, but also the conversations that are difficult and may carry negative emotions with them. Sometimes conversations may start off negative. However, as described in the book Crucial Conversations, effective communication can help you notice when there is a potential for a conversation to take a negative turn and redirect it towards becoming positive and constructive. Communication is an important skill that's integrated throughout your life. It's not only speaking, but listening, and listening is the key to having strong social skills and empathy. By developing your social skills, you're enhancing your ability to communicate, and communication is a key part of empathy. As you continue through this module, you will learn more about the importance of communication in both empathy and social skills. Empathy. Kalisch, in 1973, describes empathy as the ability to enter into the life of another person, to accurately perceive his current feelings and their meanings. Empathy is an interpersonal skill that requires us to have an understanding and ability to identify and interpret the emotional cues of others. In order to develop some clarity around what empathy is, nursing scholar Teresa Wiseman has conducted an extensive review of literature. In her article, Wiseman notes that there is some confusion around what empathy is. Many confuse empathy with sympathy. The 4 main attributes of empathy that Wiseman concluded from her research are perspective taking, or the ability to see things from someone else's point of view; remaining non-judgmental, or seeing things without forming your own critical opinion or conclusion; recognizing emotions in other people, or identifying how someone else is feeling in the moment; and communicating, that understanding to demonstrate that you do respect their perspective. Therefore, to be empathetic, all 4 of these defining attributes must be present for the concept of empathy to occur. Overall, there is a general agreement that these 4 attributes are what define empathy, and without one of these elements, literature suggests that you do not have empathy. The following short video by Brené Brown provides a clear, simple, and engaging breakdown of empathy.
So what is empathy, and why is it very different than sympathy? Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy, it's very interesting. Teresa Wiseman is a nursing scholar who studied professions, very diverse professions where empathy is relevant, and came up with 4 qualities of empathy. Perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth. Staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do. Recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people. And to me, I always think of empathy as this kind of sacred space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed. And then we look and we say, hey, climb down. I know what it's like down here, and you're not alone. Sympathy is, ooh, it's bad, no. You want a sandwich? Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice, because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling. Rarely, if ever, does an empathic response begin with at least. And we do it all the time. Because you know what? Someone just shared something with us that's incredibly painful, and we're trying to silver lining it. I don't think that's a verb, but I'm using it as one. We're trying to put the silver lining around it. So, I had a miscarriage. Oh, at least you know you can get pregnant. I think my marriage is falling apart. At least you have a marriage. John's getting kicked out of school. At least Sarah is an A student. But one of the things we do sometimes in the face of very difficult conversations is we try to make things better. If I share something with you that's very difficult, I'd rather you say, I don't even know what to say right now, I'm just so glad you told me. Because the truth is, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection.
As mentioned in Brené's video, empathy fuels connection. As you will learn later in the social skills portion of this module, this connection in the form of relationships is important for your emotional well-being. It's important to remember that empathy is broadly defined. Because empathy is often confused with sympathy, some people have a misunderstanding of what empathy is, which makes clarity on the issue important. Empathy is important for all healthcare professionals. And because nurses spend most of their time interacting with patients and families, understanding empathy is especially important. Being empathetic shows people you truly do care. Some even believe that empathy is what distinguishes a good nurse from an excellent nurse. And there is even some research to suggest a nurse's ability to show empathy reflects their ability to provide effective care to their patients. Sometimes, as healthcare providers, your workload impacts your care and the time you have to spend with clients and their families. When you're providing care to a client, do you find it hard to imagine what emotions they're experiencing? Or is it difficult to put yourself in their shoes? Do you ever find yourself judging people without fully understanding their situation? In order to become empathetic, you need to become self-aware. By doing so, you gain the ability to see your own perspective and develop an understanding of your personal point of view, so that you can enter the world of your client while suspending judgment. If you are not self-aware, you would not have an understanding of what your perspective is and how it differs from the perspective of others. Self-awareness can be developed by engaging in mindfulness activities. As you practice being mindful, you become more self-aware. There are a wide range of mindfulness activities, whether it's engaging in meditation, listening to a guided audio track, or simply just going for a walk in a quiet place and enjoying nature. It can be developed as a simple habit or as an intentional time that you take out of your day to develop this skill. As you've just learned, one of the defining attributes of empathy is communicating understanding. In order to communicate to others that you recognize the situation they're in, you need to develop your social skills. Are you able to recognize the body language of someone who is stressed, angry, or feeling overwhelmed? If you're able to recognize these clues, what would you say to help communicate that you have this understanding? These are all skills that are developed by having an awareness of social cues and by engaging in social interactions as practice. Emotional intelligence and social skills are closely tied to each other. In the next section of this module, you'll focus on the social skills component of emotional intelligence and how to develop them. Remember, the WeRPN module on mindfulness is an excellent resource to help you develop a strong understanding of this concept that relates to multiple domains of self-care. It can be accessed by clicking the link below the module.